All right, we have covered so much ground with vitamins and minerals, haven't we? You've seen all the major players. But what if I told you there's another group of minerals hanging out in our bodies that are still a bit of a mystery, even to scientists? Today, we're putting in that final, and maybe most interesting, piece of the mineral puzzle.
So, you're pretty much a pro on the major and trace minerals by now. But what about those elements that we find in our bodies but we're not totally sure what they're doing there? These are the minor mysteries of nutrition, and getting a handle on them is key to seeing the whole picture for your exam.
So let's start with what we can call the mineral mysteries. This is a whole group of minerals that scientists know are in the human body, but their exact job, well, the jury's still out. Their role in our health is something that's being actively researched as we speak.
So who's on this watch list? We're talking about arsenic, boron, lithium, nickel, silicon, and vanadium. We consistently find these guys in the human body, but we're still trying to figure out if they have a purpose or if they're just, along for the ride. For instance, some research hints that boron might help with bone health and silicon with our connective tissues, but the evidence just isn't solid enough yet. Okay, this is the key takeaway, so make a mental note. Right now, none of these are officially classified as essential nutrients. What that means is we haven't pinpointed a specific biological function for them, and we haven't found any kind of deficiency disease that happens if you don't have them. That's the scientific consensus for now.
But, and this is a really big but, non-essential absolutely does not mean harmless. If you're exposed to high levels of these elements from the environment, they can be really toxic and lead to some serious health problems. It's a perfect example of that old saying, the dose makes the poison.
To really wrap our heads around this, let's zoom in and do a little case study on one of them. Arsenic. Now, don't panic, most of our food is perfectly fine. But because it can show up in some everyday items, it's become a public health concern that we definitely need to look at.
So when arsenic shows up in our diet, it's as a naturally occurring element. But here's the thing, it comes in two main flavors, if you will, organic and inorganic. And trust me, understanding the difference between these two is absolutely critical.
This brings us to what is probably the most important part of this whole discussion. The difference between organic and inorganic arsenic is everything when it comes to understanding the risk. It's like they have two totally different personalities.
So on one side, you have organic arsenic. You find this mainly in seafood and some plants. At the levels we normally eat, it's generally considered much less harmful. But then, on the other side, you've got inorganic arsenic. This is the form that's much more toxic and is the one we worry about. With long-term, high-level exposure, it's been linked to an increased risk for certain types of cancer.
Okay, so knowing all that is one thing, but what can you actually do about it? Well, there's good news. Let's walk through a really simple, practical action plan with straightforward steps you can take to lower your intake of that more harmful, inorganic form of arsenic.
First on the list is what I call the rice rule. Rice can be a pretty significant source of inorganic arsenic just because of the way it's grown. But this simple cooking trick can make a huge difference. Step 1. Always rinse your rice before cooking. Step 2. Cook it in a lot more water than usual. We're talking a 6-to-1 water to rice ratio. And finally, step 3, once it's cooked, drain all that extra water away. This process can literally wash away a big portion of the inorganic arsenic.
Next up, let's talk apple juice, because that's another place it can be found. There are actually established daily limits to keep in mind here. For little kids, so children under 6, the recommendation is to limit it to just 4 to 6 ounces a day. For everybody else, the limit is a little higher, at 8 to 10 ounces a day.
And finally, this is a core principle you've heard all through your nutrition studies, right? Don't just rely on one single food. To reduce your risk, mix it up. By bringing a variety of grains into your diet, think oats, barley, quinoa, you naturally reduce your reliance on rice, and that lowers your overall potential exposure.
So let's end with this thought. Science is always evolving. Boron, silicon, vanadium, they're all on that watch list for a reason. And it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Which of these minerals that we consider non-essential today might one day be discovered to be a vital, essential nutrient in the future? That's definitely something to think about as you wrap up your studies for this module.